Anne.
Hey,
And I
Hi,
think the only ones I
my name
know.
is Jim. Nice to meet y'all.
Margaret
Hi.
and
Hi.
Paul.
Hi, this is Cynthia. Nice to meet you all.
Nice to meet you all.
Nice to meet you.
So, we need to have everyone mute so we don't have feedback. So, I really appreciate that you're all saying hello, but now we all need to mute. Yeah, thank you. The more people that come in, the more echoey it gets. Carolyn, are you reading tonight? Yeah.
Looks like you're right.
Well, it's okay. I didn't have you on the list, but I think your poem's in here. But if we get to you, I will of course let you read. So. All right. Michael, does it look like everyone who was in the waiting room is in?
Yep, seems so.
All right. So I have 6:30 on my clock. I hope that's accurate. So in the name of starting on time and finishing on time, we'll get going. I want to welcome you all to the virtual reading of the 2026 winter edition of the Solitary Plover. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Before we begin, I just want to thank the Friends of Lorine Niedecker and our poetry editor, Peggy Turnbull, our copy editor, Kelly Raleigh, our graphic production person, Rick Raleigh, and Michael Went from Woodland Pattern, who is at the helms of our tech this evening, which is very much appreciated. The Friends of Lorine Niedecker is a nonprofit whose goals include preserving and expanding the legacy of Lorine Niedecker and offering educational materials and access to archives, a semi-annual newsletter, and events. For more information and to join the Friends, I have put the link to the website in the chat. And all of the past issues of the Solitary Plover are available to read on the website, which is really a cool thing to do. So I encourage you to do that. A few directions about how the poetry reading will progress tonight. Michael is going to be sharing his screen so that each poem is visible as it is being read. I will read the poems of any poets who are not able to be with us tonight, and poems will be read in the order that they appear in the issue. Poets who are with us tonight will begin reading your poem when you see it appear on the screen. The other direction is that I will be announcing poets in groups of about 5. And when each group is finished, we're going to take a 1-minute break. That's designed to give everyone a chance to participate in our Zoom community tonight and to share appreciation for the poet or the poem that you heard. Please do not use the chat feature until each break is announced, so that we can focus on each poem and not have any distractions. We ask that everyone in the audience please stay muted for the duration of the reading, and poets who are reading, please unmute before you start and remember to mute when you finish. If your poem is a single short haiku, please read it twice. And each poet was also invited to share a short poem of Lorine Niedecker's if they so choose. So some poets who are published in this edition, as I said, are not able to join us tonight. But if you did not RSVP to Peggy and you are here, can you please just put your name in the chat so I know that you are here and I won't read your poem since you are here to read it. Are there any questions about any of those directions? All right. Our first group of poets will be Tris Stahelski, Scott Keeney, Robin Chapman, Maureen Scott Harris, and Stan Winarski. And I will read the first poem, followed by Trish. The first poem is by a poet, John Pappas. Sunrise on the front steps, a fallen robin. Winter solstice, the stag's antlers hold the moon. The silence before the hummingbird's return, the silence after.
Winter goldfinch. In the din of the city, goldfinch trill in the oak canopy above the garage. Fooled by the warmth of fall, stayed in winter longing. Open crick, scent of dandelion, purple thistle at dawn. And my choice of poem by Lorine Niedecker is from The Granite Pail. Get a load of April's fabulous frog rattle, lowland freight cars in the night.
Okay. Window loons. Through the brown woods, white tails flash. I should have such insight. A cup of green tea with a stick of ginger, just that. Windows a cold friend through which I bring the outside in. At night when I can't see a thing, glass too inside me. And the Niedecker poem I picked, not an obscure one at all. You are my friend. You are my friend. You bring me peaches and the high bush cranberry. You carry my fishpole. You water my worms. You patch my boot with your mending kit. Nothing in it but my hand.
Governor Dodge State Park, Lake Mendota, December 8th. Dear ones, a red-tailed hawk waits in the woods at the edge of the lake where we have come to hike and look for tundra swans. It stays there as we pass, feathers blending in with fallen leaves and the trunks of winter black. Hunting, another birder explains, for the shrew it dropped mid-flight, who's had the luck to scuttle off into the underbrush while we trudge past, binoculars strapped around our necks to find the white wings and graceful necks of the swans, hundreds blown to the far side of the iced-over lake, accompanied by half-grown young, fledged into their light gray. And we find ourselves marveling at how each bird picks out from all the rest its kith and kin, the way we ourselves recognize each human face we know, how even in the great stadiums of games or music fests we go about calling and greeting those we meet and know, as these do we see in our binocular views. And the Niedecker poem, Now in 1 year, a book published, and plumbing. Took a lifetime to weep a deep trickle.
English poet John Clare wrote, "I found the poems in the fields, and I only wrote them down." So I found my poem in a letter that Lorine Niedecker wrote to British critic Kenneth Cox. They're wonderful, the excerpts from it. So found. Two things I did this fall for the first time. Shot a can off a post 30 feet from me at a first shot and read aloud. The reading didn't go as well as the bullet. I love the excerpts that are quoted in the whole note, the full note, sorry, because they somehow they gave me a sense of Lorine's voice and rhythm. And what I've chosen to read is an excerpt from Pan Ace River Flood. Now melt and leave home, return, broom wet, naturally wet. Under soak heavy rug, water bugs hatched. No snake in the house. Where were they? She who knew how to clean up after floods. He who bailed boats, houses. Water endows us with buckled floors. You with seawater running in your veins, sit down in water. Expect the long, blue-stemmed blue speedwell to renew itself.
First, I'd just like to thank the Friends of Lorine Niedecker and Woodland Patterns for making this event possible. I feel it's a privilege to share a poem of mine as part of the legacy of Lorine's. My poem is titled Measuring. My smartwatch tracks steps, sleep, stress, BMI, FICO, IQ, health, wealth, intellect, smiles uncounted. And I would like to read Otherwise, which has been fun to kind of live with for the last week as I've selected it. Otherwise, for Gerard Manley Hopkins. Dear friend, if the poem is printed, few will read and fewer scan it, much less understand it, to be sure. The scanning's plain, but who will veer from the usual stamp and pound? Other work I've not yet found, the oak leaves law.
Thank you to that first group of poets. Now we invite you for the next minute to put some love in the chat. And then we'll move on to our second group. Thanks also for the poets that chose to read a poem of Lorine's. It's nice to hear her voice in our room as well. Okay, thank you for those comments in the chat. I know they're much appreciated. Our next group of poets will be John Levy, Scott Lowry, and myself. There's a lot of poets in this next section that couldn't be here tonight, so you'll be hearing me reading a lot of the poems in this next section. But we're going to start off with John.
Hi. It's really a delight to be in this event with Friends of Lorine Niedecker. It's such a fantastic contrast to so much else going on in our world. Portrait of a Mother. Lorine Niedecker's portrait of her mother in her poem Wintergreen Ridge is 9 words long. How she loved close gentians, she herself so closed. And Lorine, the daughter whose belief in being open, giving full attention to words and all forms of love. This second poem is not about Lorine. In the long line of ants carrying dried mesquite blossoms, this one carrying the fragile, almost transparent blossom that's almost twice the size of its own anatomy and far bigger than any of the other ants hoist, makes me wonder if an ant ever wants to show off or simply recognizes superior strength, or was thinking of last night's dream when it chose a blossom. And the poem of Lorine Niedecker's that I chose to read, I'm probably going to mispronounce the book it's from. I'm not sure how to say the word Paean. I say it Paeon or Peon. I'm not sure to place. Anyway, it's short. The Man of Law on the Uses of Grief. The Poet on the Law of the Oak Leaf. Thank you.
Thanks, John. The next poem is by Mary Rowan.
I'm here.
Oh, you are?
I am.
Great.
Yeah, I signed up and happy to be here with a really distinguished group of writers. Resolution. Understand the world is not against me, but just something. I am like a tree, rooted, buffeted by time and seasons. Pay attention. Look carefully. Listen closely. And I do have a bit that I want to read from, I believe it is Peon to place. Dancing grounds, my people had none. Woodcocks had. Backland, air around. Solemnities such as what flower to take to grandfather's grave unless water lilies. He who'd bowed his head to grass as he mowed, iris now grows on Phil. For the two and for him, where they lie, how much less am I in the dark than they?
Thank you, Mary. Our next poet, David Anson Lee, wanted to be here tonight, but at the last minute could not, so I will be reading David's poems. The first one is called Marsh Light. A heron slides over ice-slipped cattails, wind bending the frozen reed. Water whispers its slow undoing, thin glass breaking into river memory. I step lightly on frost-cracked leaves, small bones of the season beneath the pale sky. Even the winter sun hesitates at the horizon, teaching the quiet art of holding still. Flood marks. The river scripts mud lines, driftwood hung like calligraphy. Children's footprints vanish in rising water. Old fence posts swallowed by silt and memory. The wind leans against the roof and murmurs soft instructions. Bend, wait, endure. The moon slides low over the floodplain, rehearsing the seasons all over again. And Sandhill Morning. Dawn moves across the sandhill, tall grass bowing to nothing but itself. A lone crane rises, its shadow long on dew-soft soil, calling a name no one answers. I plant my hands in wet earth, feeling roots and water pulse under frost, learning the language of quiet survival. Each winded day, the marsh teaches me how to hold and to let go.
Hi. This poem of mine is called Focus. Havenwood's State Forest. Binoculars unlifted to aspen and maple, black branches, leafless, bereft. But someone flits, working deep in late dogwood thickets of red shadow, now out onto the sun patch branch above us. Kinglets, 2, maybe 3, flip, twist, flutter, gulping gnats, their day-long, weightless dinner, not stopping and never full, while we stand flat-footed in the moment's one and only blink. My choice for an excerpt, this is from Wintergreen Ridge, in this time that we're in where many of us are called to get kind of active again in some kind of resistant sort of way. This is her tip of the hat to the people who made it possible for the Wintergreen Ridge area that she was writing about to be preserved from development. We are gawks, lusting after wild orchids. Wait, what's this? Sign. Flowers loveliest where they grow. Love them, enjoy them, and leave them so. Let's go. Evolution's wild ones saved. Continuous life through change from time began. Northland's unpainted barns, fish, and boats. Now this. Flowering Ridge, the second one back from the lighthouse. Who saved it? Women of good wild stock stood stolid before machines. They stopped bulldozers cold. We want it for all time, they said, and here it is. Horsetails, club mosses, stayed alive after dinosaurs died. Thanks.
Scott, the next poem is by Elena Rivera. It's called July Heat. Hot, muggy weather, slow months, slow mornings, long days thinking. I water the cukes. The interview did not reveal anything new, wilting in hot sun. The interview told of the mother who left them, my children, de trop. Left out of story, I'll write my own. Take that. Try to shut me out. My heart crushed by her, the nothing she gave me, she, the bird with no mouth. Unfurl your leaves, fern. My body, what is it? Stop taking the dark in. Why do I hang on to empty anger? Empty lifeboat goes nowhere. Summer, another filled with still air. Plants drop their flowers. I droop. The mourning doves this morning mourn the loss and give children seeds to chew. Rain showers threaten fires in California. Rainbows of color? Ask nothing from words and they'll surely surprise you. Get out of the way. The unnameable bleak, how we treat each other, flatness, summer rains, trying to climb back up into the bright world. Word first was the ladder. And the next poem is my poem. It's called Godspeed. Cracked corn and seeds scatter under the bird feeder on a hard crust of snow. Raucous crows strut and bully lesser birds. Squirrels vie for prominence in the deepening twilight. A fox emerges from the woods. For weeks she has foraged here, shedding fur, hunger in her eyes. Each day the end is more visible, her body leaner. Patches of bare skin increase as temperatures plummet. The full wolf moon illuminates the tender flesh in a circle of light, closing in benediction. And that's the end of our second group of poets. So before we go on to our third group, let's take a 1-minute break and throw some comments in the chat. Okay, for our next group, we have Margaret Schrader, Michael Nichols Wisdom, Nancy Shea, Crystal Moss, Francis Scott, and Kate Schaefer.
Can I go ahead?
Yep. Thanks, Margaret.
Thank you, Sharon, for hosting our group. And I wanted to thank Peggy Turnbull and Tom Montag for nudging me around this poem. Route 106. Woman in trench coat. A fall day. Trees rang leaves, which hit the ground running behind a woman walking, slight, almost invisible, into town. She cleans the hospital kitchen. Her gate knows who she is, whether you do or not. She is someone's daughter, a neighbor, a chewer of words. This poet alone, Lorine. The poem I chose from Niedecker is on page 115 of Collected Works. Woman with umbrella. Lonely woman, not prompted by freshness from the sky, to run with friends and laugh it off, arrives unsparkling but dry. She's felt the prongs of her own advance through the crowded street, knows that lonely she's dangerous to meet. Best you.
I'm reading Nancy Shea's poem, a Niedecker study group at Margaret and Paul's. Peace, not the structure, not slant rhyme or 5-line stanza, but the meaning. Decide. Mickey Mouse and Scrubble suggests the relationship with that much younger man. China? Some suggest consumerism, communism, war, not caring to win, peace, a letting go. Perplexed? That's Niedecker for you.
This book.
And the Niedecker poem that Nancy chose was the poem Peace. Dark road home from town. Young neighbor, as he walked, wound up tiny Swiss works, a firefly music. Mickey Mouse leaned on a bubble, removed a tear from the elephant's eye to a brush so he could scrubble. Our small boat's motor raced great blue, the heron sailing as in China, not caring to win.
Should I be next?
I think it's me. Stockings.
Michael's got
Oh.
I'm sorry. Michael's got a really short one-line haiku right beneath Margaret's.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. And I didn't know Michael was going to be here, so I'm so happy to see you, Michael. I didn't know you were going to be here, so take it away.
Okay. It's in the haiku world, this is known as a monoku, just as a piece of slang for everyone. Something of the water, even in the name Lorine. Something of the water, even in the name Lorine. And the poem of hers that I've chosen is really one of my, I think it's probably my favorite of about 3 favorites at the most, at the highest. And this is page 286 of her collected works. Blue and white china cups, glacier adjacent, lost in the foothills. It's a poem as translucent and blue as ice.
Okay, we'll try this again. Stockings. A lone weathered leaf dangles in the maple like a forlorn stocking left on a fence post beside the path to the windswept beach. And the Niedecker poem I selected, I'm sorry I didn't jot down where it's from. It reads, "We are what the seas have made us, longingly immense, the very veery on the fence." Thank you.
Hello, everybody. River of wind flows behind the house, grass blades ruffled, River slows to small creek, barely a trickle. Grass blades bounce up. Small creek dries to stillness as the wind departs for elsewhere. Elsewhere, whirling dervish dances through fields, scatters seed for the birds. I also forgot to jot down where this poem came from, but it goes, along the river, wild sunflowers, over my head, the dead who gave me life, give me this. A relative in the air, floods, our rich friend, silt.
The next poem is by Julie Sherwin. She's not here tonight, correct?
No, I am here. I'm
Oh,
here.
you are? Oh, great.
Yep. Yep. And Dan is too. He's coming a little bit later in the issue. The first poem is called Zugenru. Zugenru is the restlessness that migratory birds get right before their migration. Zugenru. I am, he is, we are one. Autumn days shortening my need to know less and less. Maples disrobe the harvest moon, turning brown and falling. This season too moves on, crane by crane. Something between a gaze and a glare for the moon's next phase. Through a cloud bank of whys, tethered by transparent tentacles, running from the sleep that won't come, my Stockholm syndrome blooming, begging to be held longer by your gravitational pull, not breaking the devil, I know, until midway up a menopausal tree, the cicada's shell. The Niedecker poem I selected was from page 271 of the collected works. Not all harsh sounds displease. Yellowhead blackbirds cough through reeds and fronds as though pronged bronze. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for all of the work that went into this. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I'm so glad to be here. Confluence. 2 or 3 rivers meet here. Stained water from tannins, tint of tea, color of coffee, leaches from leaves, maple or oak, before merging with the blue of Michigami. In another time, this convergence holds a wetland of wild rice, manu mean, purifies water, nurses fish, before joining the blue of Michigami. In another age, glacial drift deposits, clay, pebbles, boulders, blue marl, lines, lake beds, settles on shores, molds, moraines, or morasses, before combining with the blue of Michigami. In many others, inland seas leave limestone layers, which now form mortar in this building. Ancient skeletons structure the present before slipping into the blue of Michigami. In yet another epoch, sandstone concretizes, quartz crystals submerged in a clear, shallow sea, shoreline breakers round each grain before moving into the blue of Michigami. and perhaps farthest back in time, strata of sediment metamorphose, emerge as nice, intense heat and pressure, fuse layers, vulcanized, sparkling, before coupling with the blue of Michigami. Now, at the confluence of 2 or 3 rivers, we too gather, flow together, enchanted into the blue of Michigami. And I have a short poem by Lorine. Sorrow moves in wide waves. It passes, lets us be. It uses us. We use it. It's blind while we see. Consciousness is illimitable, too good to forsake, though what we feel be misery and we know will break. Thank you.
Thanks, Kate. So that is the end of our second group of poets. So we'll take a 1-minute chat break to put some love in the chat, and then we will have our third group of poets. Okay, thank you for the chat comments. In our third and final group, I will be reading Donna Fleischer's poem, and
She's
then
here. Sorry, Donna's here.
Oh, Donna's here. Oh, that's so great. All right, thank you. And then Dan, and then Sheila, Julia Wagner, Cynthia Holt. Wendy's not here, so I'll read her poem, and then Brad Vogler. So we'll start with The Great Horned Owl. And what a lovely image that is right next to this poem. The Great Horned Owl by, I'm sorry, Donna is here, right?
It's okay, I'm here.
I'm so sorry. Take it away, Donna.
Thank you for the beautiful owl. It was remarkable, really. The great horned owl who does not screech in the darkness all around it, from the branch without bark, attached still to the tree dying from the top down, not the usual. I can almost see its shape in sound, form of solace and inquiry calling, in calling out to this world and some other it knows, the one without us, calling us to it. And this from Lorine Niedecker in the book North Central. Laundromat. Casual, sudsy, social love at the tubs. After all, ecstasy can't be constant.
Grandma, wind, and night. A person from the Greek, meaning a sound passing through. For the Zulu, a person is a person through other persons. The drunk driver, the blowtorch, my votive. A match fights to hold the wick. Blasts of cold, targeting windows, here legally, in ice times. Know your rights. Every window, a storm window. And a deep bow to the poets and all of the hands on deck here this evening. I had to select multiple poems because you read them all. So here's the one I'll choose now from Lorine, page 20, from the Granite Pail. I knew a clean man, but he was not for me. Now I sew green aprons over covered seats. He wades the muddy water fishing, falls in, dries his last paycheck in the sun, smooths it out in leaves of grass. He's the one for me.
Oops. Huh. Sorry. I just erased. I just lost the screen with the poem. So here I have this. The aftermath. The grandkids have gone and left me bereft with 9 balloons. Purple, pink, blue, yellow, some traces of faces markered on 2. Adult pursuits, poor substitutes for the squeals and peals of balloon tag laughter. Unbuoyant, deflated, what's ahead remains unsaid as daylight fades. And shopping for the afterlife. The info videos for green burials imply everything thrives on expired lives, wasting no carbon. Meandering the meadow of flailing flaccid grass, We make our rounds among the mounds of composting corpses. Small, rough boulders with expectant hyphens or engraved death dates. All our fates, essentially the same. And I chose two very short poems, each one of these 5-line haiku takeoffs that she invented. That the first one has the theme of childhood, and the second one has the theme of death. So it seemed appropriate. Niedecker, I grew in green, slide and slant of shore and shade. Child time wade through weeds. And the first word here is here, H-E-A-R, sort of has double meaning. So H-E-A-R. Here where her snow grave is, the you of mourning doves. Thank you.
Okay. Along the same river. I was born as you were dying, only a few weeks between, only 30 miles away. You never had a child live, nor did I, skipping words instead of playing syllables in time. Your stepdaughter must have tucked you in on the shelves of your immortal cupboard and nursed your remains into the waters until finally you closed your eyes as the snow gathered deep in the woods along the same river, becoming still with the rock, decomposing mud, sleeping with the plovers. Thank you.
Wild. See me, apogee of the forests, slow growing, sun loving resonance of that cosmic tilt, orders, genera, species. Such treasures do not proceed by leaps and bounds, mused Linnaeus. The terrible magic of Homo sapiens, factory warehouse clearance. And I chose so many poems, but they've all been read. So I'm going to read a short poem from T&G. My edition is T&G, The New Goose, My Friend Tree section. And the pages are not numbered in this beautiful book, but Black Hawk held, in reason, land cannot be sold, only things to be carried away, and I am old. Young Lincoln's general moved pawpaw in bloom, and to this day, Black Hawk, reason has small room. Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure and an honor to be here.
And CJ, I know I saw you on the Zoom list there, so if you're here, you can unmute and read your poem.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Okay. Metamorphosis. When I'm getting this feedback, I don't know where from. I'll try it again. Metamorphosis. When I slide into the universe, I'll post a series of soprano trills, and you will know the wren in me finally burst forth. Oh, hear the music inside my bones. And I have a short Niedecker poem, not sure where it came from. I walked New Year's Day beside the trees my father, now gone, planted, evenly following the road. Each spoke. Thank you.
Wendy's not here tonight, so I'll read Wendy's poem, Wendy Vardaman. Patterns. Patterns outside on the first warm weekend day this spring, and all the neighbors run power tools, black flies swarming the back wall of the house, the tabletop, the oranges one half eaten, the others peel. Appealingly rolled, I draw it, the cranes calling, flying over in pairs back and forth to the lake. The wind kicks up again, thunderstorms to come, all the tree limbs breaking out in goosebumps and shaking in the breeze.
Okay. This is just from a longer poem called Errand Returning. Dry reeds, dotted with red-winged blackbirds, shine wet in morning sun. Moving alongside the second pond, muted gold, whited out, bush, brush. Thin wash of too shallow water, a dark shine around weed clumps and willows. Up, 5 red-winged blackbirds scatter, and three more off. And the Niedecker poem, I think, appears twice in collected works, and I don't remember where, but it's your face, but it's whether you can keep me warm.
Okay, that is our third group, so we're going to take a minute break, and then I'll come back for some closing comments. So put some love in the chat. And Brad, I did not mean to cut you off if you were going to read that Niedecker poem. Were you going to read the one that you mentioned?
I don't know the whole poem. I just know the your face, but it's whether you can keep me.
Oh, okay.
I remembered seeing it twice in the
Yeah.
book, so it stuck with me.
Thank you. Well, thank you again to all the poets who were with us tonight and all of the enthralled audience members, including myself, listening to those wonderful words. A reminder that the submission period for the summer edition of the Plover is from May 1st through the second Saturday in June. So we hope that many of you will be submitting again. Are there, excuse me, are there any announcements from the Friends of Lorine Niedecker about any upcoming events that you'd like to share with the group while we're here? All right. Well, we want to thank everyone for joining us this evening, and we hope to see you all back for the summer edition reading in August. Thanks for sharing the poems. Thanks for being such great participants in the chat, and thanks for also sharing the wonderful poems of Lorine Niedecker.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a great rest of the night.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So long. Thank you.